Hey there, this is a chapter all about ecology, and Mr. B will be helping us learn. First off on Mr. B's lesson plan is the foundation for the study of ecology. The first level is population, which is a group of individuals, all of the same species, living in the same area, just like these worker bees right here. The next level is community, which is a group of populations living in the same area, so like lions, living with snakes, etc. The third one is ecosystem, which describes the interrelationships between the organisms in a community and their physical environment. So in this little chart right here, it shows different species or organisms and how they interact with each other. So like the mouse interacts with this bird over here, which interacts with the snake, and etc. The last level is the biosphere, which is composed of all the regions of the earth that contains living things. So basically all these three levels put into one big level. The next section is species diversity. Certain species in a community can heavily influence the dynamics of that community, including dominant species, keystone species, and invasive species. The dominant species is the most abundant species that contributes to the greatest biomass to a community. Keystone species is one that has a strong influence on the health of a community. If you remove a keystone species, it can result in dramatic changes in other species. An invasive species is an introduced species that displaces native species because it is a better competitor. Okay, so for my examples, I'm using honeybees. Even though it's a species on its own, I can still use it to describe each one of these terms. So for the first term, dominant species, the worker bees would be considered dominant in their species because it is the biggest group or biomass within the species. Keystone species can be represented by the queen bee because if you remove the queen bee from her own species, then the whole colony can fall apart. And for the last one, these Africanized honeybees are invasive because they have invaded the southern part of US. They are a mixture of African honeybees and European honeybees, which means they are more dangerous to us and other species around them. Those are just a few important points on the chapter of ecology. And Mr. B and I would like to thank you and hope that you learned a lot.